This is a scale model of the gate that I'm building for South Mountain Ponderosa Stables. It's an entryway gate to keep vehicles from coming into the area. The part that I'm working on right now, currently, are these bars that you see in each one of these panels. I'm actually bending all these bars using a forge and then bending them on jigs that are welded to a steel table. These bars are made of number 11 rebar, which is 1.5 inches thick. This is a drawing of the gate panel and column that I did on a graph so I could blow up the pattern full scale so that I could bend all my pieces of rebar. Now if you look over here on the floor, you can see the full scale pattern that I'm using to bend all the bars. What I do is I take the rebar, I put it in a forge, I heat it up until it's red hot, and then I lay the bars over the top of the drawing so I can match the contours to the bending. And here's the table where I have my jigs welded to the table, various curves that I'm using to bend the bars. Another way I heat up the bars is with an oxyacetylene torch. I'm going to heat up this small area right here, and then I'm going to take it to my bending table and I'm going to bend it around one of those steel jigs. Here we go. And here are a few of the bars that I just got through bending. And then if we walk over this way, you can see there's a whole group of bars that I've already bent for the first panel of the gate. This is all number 11 rebar. It's about 1 3/8 inches thick, so it's fairly substantial material. This is one of the hay bales that will be, that is sealed with glue, and a rubber mold will be taken off of the hay bale, and the concrete hay bales will be used as benches for the amphitheater at Ponderosa Stables. Here we are this morning at Southwest Architectural Castings, where they are preparing to make a rubber mold for the cast concrete hay bale benches. They're putting in nylon straps into the rubber mold so that they can easily remove the rubber mold after the rubber is cured. Over here we have another one of the hay bales that's been coated with glue and is ready to be set up for the mold process as well. This is the gate panel I'm working on for Ponderosa Stables. The pipe frame was made by T.A. Cade in Tucson out of rolled pipe. I've been welding in these pieces of 1.5 inch rebar throughout the panel, and I'm getting ready to move it so I can start working on the next panel. Today we're working on bending rebar for the columns for the gates. I've made a jig that you can see here on this table. It's basically a piece of steel that's been welded to the table with a clamping system to put the bars onto the form and then hammer them while they're still hot. And over here is one of the columns that we're working on. And as you can see here are some of the pieces of rebar that I've been welding around the outside area of the column. And here is one of the columns for the large gate, the main entry gate into Ponderosa stables. And here's the second column for the main entryway gate. It's been prepared and is about to go to the sandblaster today to remove any mill scale and welding slag that may exist on the piece. Ponderosa stables, and we're going to get ready to set the hay bales for the amphitheater area. Here's the amphitheater area. This is where the horse trough is going to be installed. We go up the hill, you can see the hay bales.
This way.
Over here is the horse trough planter and the hay bale amphitheater under construction. The horse trough is 12 feet in diameter, and we'll have a seat cap on the top with a specimen shade tree, I believe a blue Palo Verde, planted in the center. Today we're at Ponderosa Stables again, and we're putting in the horseshoe nail fence line for the Ocotillo fence. These are the stone columns, and this is the twisted wire rope. The fence posts, the horseshoe nail fence posts. Here we are at Ponderosa Stables again today. We're getting ready to set the columns for the vehicle entry gate. These are the holes they dug for the caissons. They are 8 feet deep and 36 inches wide. The rebar reinforcement set into the hole.
Before? He's not even touching it yet. No. gate. No. ¿Cuándo?
The reality on these public art projects is that the art is a team sport. And it's one of the things that distinguishes public art from all kinds of other art, where folks work along in the studio. But in this case, we have many players. And it couldn't have happened without the support of the City Council and the Commission. I'll turn it over to you, and then I'll come back to me. And we have other speakers today. The Chair of the Commission, Susan Schaefer and Mamias, and also Laura Bell, Chair of the Parks Board.
Arts Department does such an outstanding job, and they work with the Commission, and they do these things, not only working with good artists, local artists, community artists, but really working with artists to really represent the area that we're here. And I tell you, this what we have here couldn't have been better, couldn't have come at a better time, because it is the gateway to South Mountain Park. And when you turn that corner, come into this entryway, and you know, as we talk about South Mountain Park and being one of the largest municipal parks, we have to also look at where we're at right now with the Ponderosa. This has been here, and I don't know how many years. I know it's been here since I've been a kid. But when people talk about horseback ride, and they talk about South Mountain, you know, it's been a team effort, so we put our arms around the team and say thank you.